Welcome back, guys. So today we got to talk about Facebook, but more specifically Kodi and Facebook. So every, site out there that you could post, you can make sale posts, commerce posts, typically has a policy or some kind of guidelines. Facebook is no different. They've had a pretty vague policy in the past that just kind of generalized things. You can't sell weapons, you can't sell tobacco, prescription drugs, animals, adult items or services, alcohol, gambling services, illegal services, tons of things like that. Just they're prohibited from Facebook and plenty of other places. Most of the time, these policies are pretty, like I said, generalized. But now Facebook has just updated their policy and they are banning posts that promote the sale of Kodi boxes. Any box that's loaded with Kodi. Now, this is kind of an odd thing because it's Kodi in and of itself is not, any kind of illegal software. It's just a platform used for streaming services. But there are, add-ons and whatnot that you could turn it into essentially a pirating, streaming service. A lot of people use it. I've never messed with it in the past, but I know it's a pretty popular platform. A lot of people use Kodi for their streaming, be it illegal, one way or another. I can't really speak to how things work with it. I just know there's a lot of add-ons that work and then they stop working and people are always looking for help with that. And now Facebook just generalized no Kodi. If the device has Kodi on it, you are not allowed to sell it on Facebook. So I'm not sure exactly how they will enforce this policy. Maybe the keyword Kodi, something like that. But there's lots of devices out there that include Kodi, or certain front ends or user interfaces that include Kodi that people can sell, companies can sell with things preloaded on it, just base software that it's up to you to do with as you please, or put those add-ons into it and all those things. But now it's against the rules, so I'm curious to see how far this goes with certain things. Like I said, there's a lot more devices out there than just, what maybe some people might just think of as a typical Kodi streaming device. There's tons of, mini PCs, Android boxes, Raspberry Pi with RetroPie setups or different, Linux distributions, things like that people will advertise that include Kodi. So I'm really curious if they're just going to ban all of that. But the big thing with this is if you're caught doing this, if you're caught selling a device, on a post in the marketplace, whatever the case may be, where you're advertising a product or device, whatever it is, Android box, mini PC, doesn't matter, Raspberry Pi, and you say, hey, this is loaded with Kodi, it's Kodi enabled, you could risk losing your Facebook account. Now, I'm sure a lot of people don't really care about that, but, some people might not want to lose their personal account that they've, had for a long time. So I'm just kind of bringing this up to people. You got to be careful with what you're posting out there, what you're selling out there. It seems like with this and all these other things that have been going on in the news, the emulation sites being brought down, all these things that have to do with piracy, because don't get it twisted. The issue with Kodi is people looking at it as a device to pirate, movies and shows and get all that streaming service from these add-ons, and that's the world we live in. A lot of companies don't want to be associated with that, so I can't really blame Facebook for taking this stance and adding it to their prohibited listings or prohibited products you could sell on their website or their marketplace or postings and whatnot. But I find it odd to specifically target Kodi because, like I said, Kodi it's just a program. It doesn't ship with anything that is illegal, not from what I understand from the research I've done. Like I said, I've not really messed with Kodi. It's not been something I really have had any desire to mess with. You know, I'm one of those people who don't really watch a lot of TV or movies. I mean, there's tons of movies, tons of shows that I do appreciate and have watched, but my time is, I mean, you know, I'm an older guy, I'm not a youngster, but seriously, a lot of my time is dedicated to YouTube. Not just filming videos and interacting with the community, but I watch a lot of YouTube, so I'm not really all that interested in, you know, streaming movies or videos from, you know, Kodi and whatnot. You know, I've heard of a lot of times people would get these boxes pre-set up, and then all of a sudden, you know, they would buy them, just like a Raspberry Pi RetroPie setup. They would buy them on a, you know, some kind of marketplace, be it Facebook, eBay, Amazon, wherever would allow third-party sellers to sell devices. And people would buy these things because they don't know how to set them up themselves, and then things would stop working. You know, I've heard this a lot with, you know, Amazon Fire Sticks and things like that have been hacked, and, you know, extra services being added, Kodi boxes included, where somebody would come to me like, hey, is you know, could you help me with this? It doesn't work anymore. I can't figure this out. And it's like, dude, I don't know anything about that, you know, specific angle of devices. You know, RetroPie and stuff like that I do, but with the media streaming stuff, I've never really specialized in that. But I know it's been a common frustration amongst, you know, maybe not so savvy users of devices that are preloaded and set up. And, you know, people could definitely be annoyed with that. But myself personally, watch a lot of YouTube. We do use Netflix, Hulu, and PlayStation View in my house. But for the most part, you know, nobody's really watching too much. But I could definitely see, you know, people want to get their streaming services and add-ons going, and, you know, be in it to win it and watching whatever they want to watch. And like I said, I've heard too many times of people either being sold a setup that didn't work or it stopped working, because I know there's been a lot of actions against some of these add-ons being taken down. But once you take one thing down, something comes up in its place. And it's just like with the emulation things, you know, the emulation sites being taken down. It's not the end of the world with those things. But, you know, once one pops, you know, disappears, tons of others pop up, or there's just ones that are out of reach from people being, you know, sought after or whatever, you know, however, whichever way you want to look at it. With this Kodi device thing, you know, it's not something I'm passionate about because, like I said, I've not really used it, but I do see the frustration with, you know, if you're trying to sell something and Kodi could possibly be a selling point. You know, we have a Facebook group that deals with gaming and RetroPie and projects, arcade stuff, classic retro games, stuff like that. We deal with a bunch of little things. And over the time, there's been a lot of people asking for help, you know, with Kodi. How does this work? How does that work? And now I'm kind of curious, you know, is that freedom of discussing these things going to be next? Like, you just mentioned Kodi and, you know, it's blocked speech on Facebook. I don't know. But right now, sales are blocked. You cannot sell these things, and if you try to, you risk losing your account. And that's just the way it is, you know. Like I said, it just kind of seems odd to name that specifically instead of just like fully loaded devices, because in the past, on their, you know, their previous commerce policy, one of the items that was listed that you could not sell was products, or this is on there, this is exactly how it's worded: products or items that facilitate or encourage unauthorized access to digital media. So, I mean, that could be anything. That was pretty vague in the past. You could sell a Windows 10 PC. A Windows 10 PC can, you know, have access to digital media that's unauthorized. So it was fairly general, but now bringing up specifics, Kodi in general, that's kind of nuts, you know, to specifically pinpoint that program and say if the device has that on there, doesn't matter if it's fully loaded or not. It's against our policy. It's against our rules. Facebook has every right to enforce whatever rules and policies they want. You know, they're their own company. freedom of doing anything you possibly want doesn't exactly exist on social media platforms. They get to pick and choose how they want to enforce things, and it just kind of seems like things are getting even more and more restricted with this kind of topic. So just wanted you guys to be aware. Smash that like button, you know what I'm saying? Subscribe if you haven't done so already. What are your thoughts? I've never used Kodi, but I know a lot of you guys have and do. Is this something that's just kind of out of left field? Like, why name Kodi specifically, instead of just fully loaded devices, that kind of thing? I mean, is RetroPie, Raspberry Pi going to be the next thing that's specifically named? I don't know. But I do appreciate you guys stopping and watching. Share your comments down below. And with that said, I will catch y'all next time. Peace out, bye-bye, and boom!
Go!